Hello friends, today we are going to explain the most awaited South Korean survival thriller series released on Netflix, which is called the Squid Game Season 2. This story is before Season 1, therefore, it is very important to know its recap for continuity. In the beginning of Season 1, we see a man named Song Ji-hun who is very poor. He has a lot of debt. Because of all this, his wife has left him. And now she is going to shift to the US with her daughter and husband. Ji-hun is very upset with his condition. Then one day, a briefcase man invites him to play a game called Dokji, for which he will give him money. After losing many times, Ji-hun finally wins. After which the man gives him a card and tells him that if he wants to win money by playing such fun games, then he will have to register in that game. Ji-hun agrees to it. After which, when he opens his eyes, he is in a dormitory where there are 455 people. All of them were wearing green tracksuits on which some numbers were written. Then some guards come there and tell them that everyone has lived a very bad life in that place. That's why they are being given a chance to earn billions of won, for which they will have to win 6 games in 6 days. A front man was leading all those guards. And all those people were wearing masks. Ji-hun makes player number 001 his friend, who was an old man. After which they all play the first game. But soon they come to know that the loser in that game will be killed. Many people die in the first game. Because of which everyone demands to go from there. Now, according to the rules, if the majority candidates want to go from there, then they will be sent back safely. And this is what happens. But when they come back to their normal lives, they get so worried about their situation that they get ready to play that game again. Meanwhile, Ji-hun also goes to the police station to tell all this. But no one believes him. But there an officer, Wong Jun-ho, believes him. Because his brother was also missing for a long time. And he also got an invitation like Ji-hun. That's why when Ji-hun is brought to the game for the second time, then Jun-ho also follows him to the location of that game, which was a hidden island. Jun-ho makes a guard unconscious and takes his place. Now, because all the guards were wearing masks, he is not even caught. All the players start playing the game again. And this is how they move forward in it. Meanwhile, to kill a player named Deoksu, he kills another player. Due to which their prize money increases. Seeing this, now he starts attacking other players as well. Ji-hun also makes a team of his own. And they all manage to escape from Deoksu and his team with great difficulty. On the other hand, Jun-ho continues his investigation. He enters the frontman's office and checks the files, where he finds out that this game has been going on for the past 30 years. And in 2015, his brother Wong-ho has been the winner there. Jun-ho escapes from there. But the frontman finds out that someone had come to his cabin. Because of which he tells his people to find that man. While playing games, many candidates lose to other people. Because their life was not much left now. Or their life was useless. In this, Ji-hun's best friend player 001 was also there. Who had sacrificed himself to make him win. Because he had a brain tumor. After some time, VIP guests come there. Who were millionaires. Who invested money on the people of the game. Jun-ho catches one of them. And records his confession in his phone and escapes from there. In the end, Ji-hun, Sang-woo and Baek are left. Who were the finalists of this game? Baek was already injured. Because of this, she tells Ji-hun to take care of his family. And when Ji-hun goes to ask for help, Sang-woo kills him. Because of which Ji-hun is very angry with him. But now he couldn't do anything. On the other hand, the frontman and his people catch Junho. And here Junho finds out that the frontman is none other than his brother In-ho. But at that time, In-ho shoots him. Because of which he falls into the sea. In the final game, there is a fierce fight between Ji-hun and Sang-woo, in which Ji-hun wins. But he doesn't kill Sang-woo. Because of which Sang-woo kills himself. With which this game ends here. Now when Ji-hun comes back home, he sees that his mother is dead. Because of which he goes into serious depression. Because even after winning so much money, he couldn't save her. Even after a year, he doesn't use that money, which he had won in that game. Then one day he gets an invitation, where he meets his friend 001. That is Il-nam, who was actually the host of that game. Il-nam had invented this game because there was nothing interesting in the lives of millionaires. And Il-nam had a brain tumor. Because of which he wanted to recall his childhood memories. And that's why he participated in that game. He also believed that humanity is now dead. And that's why there is no harm in playing this game. After which he dies there. After a few days, Ji-hun with his winning money helps the families of those players who were killed in that game. After which he goes to the US to meet his son. And suddenly he sees the same well-dressed man at the airport, who had given him the invitation card of that game in the beginning. After seeing all this, Ji-hun talks to the frontman. He asks him who is doing all this now. Because Il-nam has died. On which the frontman tells him to go to the US quietly. But we see that Ji-hun does not do this. And comes back to the terminal. With which this first season ends here. So now it's time for Season 2 of this great series. This story begins at the end of the last season, where Seong Ji-hun returns from the airport. On the way, he gets a call from the frontman, who tells him that he should have gone back to his daughter. Here Ji-hun was not able to understand this. How does the frontman know where he is? Which meant that those people had been keeping an eye on him since he had played this game and came from there. After this, he sits in a car and goes to Seoul, where he checks his entire body in the washroom of a shop, in which he finds a tracker behind his ear, which he cuts from his skin and takes out. On the other side, we see that Wang Junho, who fell into the sea after being shot. A fisherman had saved him there. After which his eyes open in a hospital. And now he is doing the job of a traffic police. One day a couple is going by scooter, where they are stopped because of not wearing a boy's helmet. When that girl sees the crowd, she tries to flirt with him. On which her boyfriend leaves her there. While on the other side, Ji-hun is in a motel, where he has cameras everywhere. Then suddenly his doorbell rings. But he does not see anyone in the camera. Then someone gives him a game card from under his door. And now when he opens the gate to see outside, then the front man stands in front of him. In both his hands are the heads of his old friends. Seeing which he gets very scared. And wakes up from his sleep. Actually all this was a dream. But then suddenly the doorbell really rings. But at that time a man named Kim had come there. Kim and his team were hired by Ji-hun to find the man with the suitcase. Because he wanted to finish that game completely. While Kim tells him that he has not found such a man yet. On which Ji-hun gives him more money. so that he can involve as many people as possible in this work. Because this is the time of the year when those people gather new peers. And if they do not find him, they will have to wait another year. Kim and his team have been looking for that man for the last 2 years. But they have not found any clue about him yet. On which Kim's right-hand man asks him, "Is Ji-hun crazy? Because if there is such a man who gives people money by giving them games, then why haven't they found him yet?" On which Kim tells everyone that the people to whom he had loaned money, they all suddenly disappeared somewhere. And when Ji-hun came back, then he returned everyone's money. That means he has really won a game. That's why they have to believe him. After which he asks to call more people the next day. They all meet in a company called Sunshine, where Kim tells everyone about his mission. And he also says that whoever gets it, he will be given 500 billion won. After hearing this, everyone starts looking for him with full force. Days go by. But that suitcase man is nowhere to be found. But then one day, when Kim and Woo-suk are sitting at a station, then he sees that suitcase man, who is playing dokji with a boy. After which he gives him the card of that game and leaves. From there, on the other side, the boy's girlfriend is in the hospital, with whom he tries to contact. But he does not receive his call. Here we see that he too has got the card of that game. As soon as the suitcase man meets Kim, Ji calls him and tells him everything. On which Ji-hun tells him to follow him from a distance, and goes to go there himself. Here to cross the speed limit on the way. The police stops him and cuts his challan. But he immediately takes him and leaves from there. When people see his name, then he feels a little familiar. That's why he starts an investigation about him. While Kim and Woo-suk follow the suitcase man and see that he tells many poor people to choose one of the lottery tickets and bread, on which only one is left. The rest of the lottery tickets are chosen. After which he crushes the rest of the bread in front of everyone. Kim and Woo-suk think of catching him alone. But that man kills both of them and kidnaps them. When Ji-hun reaches there, he sees that there is no one there. On the other hand, the suitcase man plays rock paper scissors with Kim and Woo-suk and shoots the loser, in which Kim loses knowingly, and he dies there. While Ji-hun goes back to his motel, where the lights are on, which he understands that there is someone in the motel. When he goes inside, he finds the man there, whom he was looking for. He tells that man to tell the name of his boss. But he starts laughing. On which Ji-hun calls him his boss's pet dog. Because on his boss's orders, he used to trap people in that game. On which that man tells him his life story. That how he burned humans thinking them to be trash. He even killed his own father, because of which he had become a demon. He plays one more game with Ji-hun, wherein the revolver, by putting only one bullet, both of them shoot him time and again. In which finally Ji-hun is saved. And that recruiter happily kills himself. While on the other side, Jan-ho, due to his investigation, reaches outside that motel. And with this episode ends here. After which episode 2 starts. Halloween Party. In the beginning of this episode, Jan-ho goes inside the motel and starts checking all the rooms. where he finds a room, which is locked. He asks him about Ji-hun, and leaves from there. After which he goes to Ji-hun's room, and accuses him of murdering the recruiter. But then, Woo Seok comes there, and makes Jan-ho unconscious with a fire cylinder. Now when he comes to his senses, when Jan-ho comes to know that Ji-hun is looking for the front man, then he also asks him to help him. But Woo Seok refuses to believe him, because he was a police inspector. But then, Jan-ho reminds Ji-hun that when he was playing the game last time, then a guard asked him about Wong Hin-ho, who was actually Jan-ho. After hearing all this, Ji-hun also remembers this incident, and he believes him. After that, he shows them the money, which he won in that game. But both of them are not greedy for money, because Jan-ho wanted to take revenge from his brother, and Woo Seok from his brother, like Boss Kim. After this, Ji-hun shows them a lot of weapons, which he has collected till now. He asks Woo Seok to collect more members, because he needed a lot of people to defeat the front man. On the other hand, we see a girl named Kang No-yeol, who works in an amusement park. She goes to a broker, to whom she gave the task of finding her 1-year-old daughter. But the broker tells her that a girl whose mother shot her senior and ran to South Korea. How will her daughter be alive? But No-yeol still asks her to find her, and gives her money too. Ji-hun is still taking care of Sang-woo's mother and Chul, and he also came to the same broker to find Chul's mother, on which the broker told him that he will find her soon. After this, when Ji-hun is going back, then No-yeol comes there, who sees her. Now one day, when No-yeol is sleeping in the car outside the amusement park, then a man comes to meet her, who gives her the card of that game. On the other side, that Sikh had brought many ex-army people, and like this, they had formed a great team. From the pocket of that recruiter, Ji-hun gets a card, in which on October 31st, in a club, he had to go to meet the frontman. That's why all those people start preparing for that day, to know his location. October 31st comes. That day, there was a lot of crowd in that club, because that day was Halloween. Ji-hun and Woo-sik go to that club together. After a while, the people sitting outside tell them that the guards of the game have come there. One guard catches Woo-sik while following him. He also makes him unconscious. On the other side, Ji-hun also follows a guard, and reaches near the limousine, which was put inside the limousine. Now when the people see that Ji-hun is going out of the club, then Woo and his team start following those people. In the car, Ji-hun starts talking to the frontman, where the frontman tells him that why is he looking for him, on which Ji-hun says that he wants to stop this game. He also says that those people can't take advantage of the situation of the poor. The frontman asks him that does he want to be the messiah of the poor, on which Ji-hun tells him to get into the game once again. After hearing this, the frontman thinks a little, but finally, he listens to him. While at the back, on the tire of Junho and his team's car, the snipers shoot on the building, because of which those people are left behind. While on the other side we see that Kang No-yeol goes to a location where many other people are changing. She also changes her clothes, And where's the costume of the guards of that game? That means is named 001. In the beginning we see that when Ji-hun opens his eyes, then he becomes a part of the same game once again. And his number was also the same. 456. Many different types of players would have come here. Some were very popular YouTube stars, while some were very disappointed. After a while, the pink dress guards come there, whose leader tells them all that they have to play 6 games in 6 days. And whoever wins this game, he will get 45.6 million. 1. Hearing which all the players get very excited. But then they start misbehaving with the guards there. On which the guards start telling about the lives of some people present there, in which almost everyone has a lot of debt. After which everyone calms down. Now after a while, a consent form is signed from them. And it is also said that they can decide after every game whether they want to play this game or not. After which Ji-hun also signs the consent form, because he thought that his friends will follow the tracking device in his teeth and come there. On the other hand, we see that Junho, Woo-suk and his team, who were moving forward following that tracker. Captain Park was also with them, who saved Junho's life. Here after a while in the game, Ji-hun meets his childhood friend Yoongbei, who he asks to stay behind him. After a while the first game starts, whose name was Red Light Green Light. This was the same game which Ji-hun played last time also. At the same time Ji-hun checks the tracking device in his teeth, and he comes to know that the device is not there. On the other hand, while tracking that tracking device, Junho reaches a fisherman whose device was kept in the box, and he didn't know anything about it. Which means Ji-hun was once again trapped in that game. The game starts, before which Ji-hun tells everyone to listen to him. All this is seen by the frontman's CCTV camera. Now the people who listen to Ji-hun, they are saved. But even after that, many people are killed in it. On the other hand player number 230, whose name was Thanos, he knows many players and kills them. Really, the people named Thanos, they are very cruel. Now, this game was that they had to run when the song played and become a statue as soon as it stopped. But if anyone moved a little, the doll in front of them would catch them with the help of motion detectors. After that, the snipers sitting far away would shoot them. In those guards, we see Noel, who is killing all the players mercilessly. Then a guard shoots at the foot of player number 120, who is trying to save him, but Noel kills him later. After the game is over, everyone is very scared and wants to go from there. But then the guards show them the amount of reward so far, which changes their minds. Because so far 91 people had been killed, because of which the winning prize money was now 9.1 billion won. Now greed arises in everyone's mind, so they all continue the game. And then Ji-hun tries to explain to them that they should not be greedy and should get out of here as soon as possible, on which all the players start saying bad things to him. With all these things, Ji-hun tells everyone that he has won this game once, on which everyone says that if this is the case, then he can also help them win. After which, when there is vote, number 001, who gives his vote in O, that is, he wants to play the game further, because of which all these people are now stuck there. And we see that player number 001 is no one else, but the frontman Wong In-ho himself, with whom this episode also ends here. In the beginning of episode 4, we see that Jihan is sitting with his friend Jang Bae, and then player 001 comes to talk to him. Their thoughts about the game are quite different, which leads to some debate. At the same time, some more people come there, who ask Jihan about the next game, because he has played here before, on which Jihan tells him about the game of honeycomb, which had to choose the easiest way to crack the triangle shape. On the other hand, player 333 is hit by Thanos and player 124, who was a YouTuber, because of which his money invested in the stock market was lost. Actually, 333 was the same player with whom the recruiter was playing the game in the beginning. Player 001 comes and stops when everyone is sleeping. Then player 001 comes to Ji-sun and tells him a story, where he says that his wife is pregnant, and he has a dangerous lung disease, because of which he needs money badly, and that's why he wants to win this game. Now Wong In-ho's wife has actually died, which we saw in season 1. But why is he lying now? We will find out later. On the other hand, In-ho tries to ask for help from the police station and his seniors, but his seniors do not believe him without proof. They tell him to go to the psychiatrist. There we see that Woo-suk is sitting with that fisherman, who saved In-ho's life. And then suddenly he asks Woo-suk about Jihan, on which Woo-suk tells him everything about his plan without paying attention. Here in the game we see that human trafficking is still going on illegally. But those people were very upset with soldier number 11, because of which he was not able to do a job properly. Actually, they need people who still have a little life left. But soldier 11, who was Noelle, she would kill all the players directly, due to which all the organs were also dying. At night, when everyone is sleeping, Soldier 11 is called by his boss, where he refuses to support him in all this work. The next morning, player number 222 comes to meet player 333. Seeing whom player 333 is shocked, because she was his ex-girlfriend, who was still pregnant. Actually, that day she had gone to the hospital to get her abortion, but she did not get it done. Now it's time for the next game, and when they go to play this game, they find out that this game is not a honeycomb, but a team game, for which they had to make a team of 5 people in 10 minutes. Seeing all this, the other contestants, who had agreed to Jihan's honeycomb story, they start getting angry at him. But then player 001 comes there, out of fear of which everyone leaves. Player 001 also asks Jihan and Jangvi to make a team. Player number 388 also joins them, because he was a marine officer like Jangvi. Everyone makes their own teams, where player 388 Player 222 comes there, and asks her to keep him in her team. Her boyfriend tries to catch up with her again, but she clearly refuses him. After becoming everyone's team, they are told that for this game, all the team members' feet will be tied together, and they will have to crack 5 different games to win, in which every member will have to play a game. Those games were Darkji, Flying Stone, Gongi, Jaggi, and Spinning Top. And all these games, they have to complete within 5 minutes. First of all, 2 teams come together to play, where the first team plays well, but the second team, Flying Stone, in which with the help of 1 stone, had to drop the second stone, gets stuck in it. Time was getting less and less. Because of this, that team's player 198, who was playing bisecting, he gets so scared, that the poor guy's pant gets wet. But in the end, he does crack it. There, the other team reaches the spinning top. But still, they had one game left. In the meantime, time is up, and the guards there shoot all of them. One of them was alive. When the guards come to pick him up, Noel comes in front of him, and kills him completely. In this way, the other teams also try their best. And with this episode also ends. Where it starts now, episode 5 of One More Game. In the beginning of this episode, we see that player number 007, his old mother, player number 196, player number 095, and number 120 form a team which wins all the games. And in this way, that competition becomes the first team. Player number 120 helps everyone a lot in this. After which, many more teams win this game. And slowly, go out of there. In this game, many people also die. Whose blood was all over the ground. Anyway, in the end, 2 teams remain. In which, one was Jihan's team. All those people were easily crossing the game one by one. But when it comes to the spinning top, which was being him and tells him to play easily. After which, in the last game, player 001 also supports him. And in this way, they also win this game. But the other team loses, who are killed. After which, when they all return with the contestants, no one is happy because the more people die, the more money will increase. After all this, Jihan's team exchanges Junhee. Now, they decide together that in this voting, they have to go out of there. Where player 007 and his mother player 190's team also decides the same. After which, the pink guards return. They tell them that 110 players were eliminated due to which, the prize money has now become 20.1 billion won. After seeing this, no one is happy. Because they needed more money than this. And when the voting starts, more candidates start choosing O. After seeing this, Jihan starts going ahead. But then, player 001 comes and explains to everyone that they should leave from there. But no one listens to him. In the majority present there, people wanted to stay there and play one more game. So much so that Yoongbei also ticked O. And player 007 and player 120 also selected O, due to which, the people of their team got very angry with them. As a result, it was declared that the maximum votes were still for Team O, that is, towards the players. Therefore, now all of them will have to play the third game as well. On the other hand, when all the soldiers were going to their rooms, 2 guards attacked Noel. And by making knife marks on his face and fingers, they threatened him not to interfere in their work. After a while, Yoongbei apologizes to his team members. He says that he had a lot of debt, because of which he did all this. Player 007 also gives the same reason to his mother. And player 120 was actually a transgender who needed a lot of money for the operation. And for this reason, he also chose O, Thanos, and player 124 once again start harassing player 333, Yoongbei and his friends come to save him. At night, Jihan makes a barricade with his team. And betting. And every time everyone goes and starts guarding. Because according to Jihan's first experience, when players are killed, the reward money increases. So anyone can attack them at night. First of all, Jihan is guarding. And then Yoongbei wakes up and they both start remembering some childhood moments. On the other hand, player 222 who was pregnant gets up to go to the toilet. Along with that, player 196 and player 120 also come to go to the toilet. First, the guards forbid them to go. But after saying a lot, they let them all go. Player 196 was taking a lot of care of player 222 because she was pregnant. But player 222's behavior was now cold towards them. Anyway, after a while, player 222 starts crying in the washroom, because of which player 196 takes care of her once again. On the other hand, we see Wooziak and Janho, who take their people in 2 boats to find that island and to save Jihan. The next morning, all the contestants are sent to a room to play the 3rd game. Its name was Mingles, where everyone is given instructions. They have to stand on a revolving platform, and whatever number is announced, they have to take that number and go inside the rooms in front of them. After a while, the game starts, and with this episode ends here. After which, episode 6 starts, whose name is OX. This episode starts with the same game of Mingles, where the first number is 10. So all the players go to a room with 10 people, and then the remaining people are shot. There are many rounds like this, in which in one, player 007 leaves his mother player 196 and runs away. But Jihan and player 001 save him. In the same way, many people betray each other and many people are killed. When the final round of the game starts, Yoongbei asks Jihan how many numbers will be announced now. On which, player 001 says that 2 numbers will be announced because there are 126 contestants left and the total room is 50. So by doing this, maximum candidates can be eliminated. And this is what happens. As soon as the song starts, all the candidates come to the room where player 001 and Yoongbei go to the same room. But there is already a contestant present there, and due to the time being less, player 001 kills him. After all this, the voting time comes. Now a lot of money had been collected here, so many people wanted to leave there now. But there were some people who wanted to earn more money there. That's why when voting happens, Yoongbei tries to tell Jihan about what happened in the Mingles game. But he does not say of player 001. On the other hand, voting happens and the game is tied, which gives them a day to think. 0 and X choose to stay on different sides, which creates a war atmosphere there. Jihan thinks that he should go and explain to the people on the other, but player 001 and the rest refuse him to do so. On the other hand, Juno and his team see something on an island and they go there actually. It looks like a gate, but as soon as they enter, a fisherman on his boat and he tells them to stop repeatedly. But they still keep moving forward, and to avoid danger, Juno forbids everyone to use phones. Thanos and player 125, who was in his team, bother him in the island, save him. Thanos and Namcube start bad about, which leads to Group 0 and Group X, in which Thanos is about player 333, and then player 333 attacks him with a in the we are shown the fight Team X and Team, after which, when they come back, we see that 2 people of Team X have died, while Team O has 3 players. That is, by winning in the last, player 001 suggests that they should attack them before, but then Jihan says that there will be no use doing so. He makes a plan, and at night when everyone goes to sleep, then the Team X come to attack them and very mercilessly start killing Team O. Team X come to attack them and very mercilessly start killing Team O. Now because there were more kids and females in there, their team becomes weak and is killed. After, a pink guards come there and stop everyone, and when they are scanning the dead people's bodies, suddenly Jihan wakes up and those people attack those guards, while on the side we see that a man on the people's boat at night, and when he goes to he sees that the fisherman is drones, but when he asks him, he says that he was just seeing how they fly. Now that man doubts that fisherman, and that doubt is also right because that fisherman stabs that man and pushes him into, but then that shock comes there which makes him a fool and sends him back to the. On the other side we see Jihan, Jangbi, player 001, player 120 and player 288. Who come inside and snatch all the guards' guns and capture one guard alive. After this he asks other people to help him, but most of the people don't help him. After that, they keep that boy in front and ask him the way to office, while on the other side head sends many guards to stop them. Jihan and his team are very fast, after which Jihan enters management area with his team. Their bullets start getting. Jihan tries to from a guard's body, in which one bullet touches his hand and leaves. After this they call some people for help, they couldn't go up alone. After hearing player 001 takes 2 more players with him to management area where they the door. On the other side, players are sent to get bullets. Meanwhile player 001, who was actually the frontman, kills both the players and everyone has to surrender because the bullet's over. Even after this guards kill them all. Meanwhile Yungbei and Jihan are caught. After some time they come to the witch tells Jihan that he has the result and kills Yungbei. Jihan is shocked when he sees. Meanwhile player 388 collects but cannot panic attack. Because this, everyone is caught and the game resumes ends. I know Squid Game Season 2 is still incomplete. Now the question is that will Jihan be able to that game even in its next season, which we all will be waiting for. That's today's long video. If you liked the, please comment in the comment box because your comments are valuable and we will wait for comments. But that's today's story. But we will meet again with a new interesting story. And as always, thank you.